Any thoughts of the slow pace and content release next year?
Uh,
I would rather it be. I would rather it be faster, but just because the first half of the year is slow doesn't mean the end won't pick up. So, but I doubt it will. Yes, I mean, I think the biggest issue with the only issue I have with the roadmap is that February and March are dead. Like, Rowan is not enough content. Like, nobody really wants a PvP continent. Like, Rowan just on its own, and then having the Tulovic be the only thing in March is kind of weird. So, like, those definitely, like, I feel like Artists should be coming in February or March, and then April should be Rowan and Brel. I feel like Rowan is something that would just launch with Brel hard mode. Like, it's a continent. But it's just PvP oriented. I don't even think it's required. Like, I'm pretty sure you don't have to clear Rowan to go to Algacia. So it's a little weird.
I don't know. I don't think it depends, because really the pace of content is largely going to be important based off of where we're going. And like, should we be going faster? If we were to go faster, they would need to give us the means by which to accelerate ourselves, which they can do. So it's not a problem.
I think the risk of going slower is you run the risk of people know what happens in the other regions. So like, people who play this game are going to keep playing this game know what's happening in Korea. So having
not everyone, but a lot of people.
A lot of people. And if they don't, they can figure out the information in various other sources. It'll leak to them eventually. But like Korea is going pretty slow right now, but there's still like 2 years of content ahead. So like, that gap needs to be getting smaller, not being extended. Or I guess the fear of eventually, like, I don't know. The whole argument that some of the Lost Ark streamers have that why are you want to catch up because you'll just be bored like us is bullshit. Like, it's just fucking dumb. Why would you, it's worse to be getting old content that the other regions have all figured out slowly. That is the most agonizing thing I can think of.
I think it really, really hurts the hype of a new content piece coming out when it's not a global release.
I feel
or at
like
least in the place where it's not new. Right?
I feel like Smilegate knows Rowan is shit and PP is unpopular, so I don't know why they would knowingly release his sole main Yeah. Like, and it's not just a month. That's 2 months worth of updates. And guess what one of those months is? The fucking anniversary month. During anniversary month is when we get Rowan. That is just lame. That is fucking lame. For our anniversary event.
I think you need to have a banger every like 3 months. I don't think every month needs to be a banger.
Okay, but February is our anniversary month, and this game's known for its anniversary months supposed to be really big. But what can we do, I guess?
Yeah. I'm okay with him doing like they're still giving us some amount of content. I'm okay with it personally. I think it's fine. Having not read the roadmap personally, because we didn't go over it on stream to make a video, and if I'm not making content out of it, I don't care. My opinion is that they need to keep stuff pumping out to where we can catch up.
Yeah, and the roadmap does not look like that, and it also kills the hype for the anniversary. Like, I don't know. It's like it's just the anniversary of the game, man. Like, it needs to be more hype. Like, at least have moved I would rather have the Witcher event in February and Rowan in January. But instead, we're getting the Witcher event happening, and then during the anniversary update, we're like, it's Rowan. Like, that's fucking weird. Also, I've already given a little bit of my opinion on releasing a class with a raid is fucking lame.
I agree. I think classes should be treated differently than content. I understand that like there's work that goes into porting the classes, and I understand that like They aren't going to like snap their fingers and have all of the classes ready and then just hold them back. But it would be really good, and they should highly consider putting more resources into getting the classes out at a very rushed pace. I think that we should have the exact same classes as Korea, like as soon as possible. I would make that a very high priority.
Like, just the only thing missing for the roadmap is something Pog during the anniversary, and then Artist the next month. Or Artist on the anniversary month, because that would be hype. New class anniversary month. Have Artist be February, and then have like Aeromancer be May, and then have it be like August, that's the 8th month. August would be Slayer. So that means we'd be getting Slayer 7 months after Korea, but that's, I guess, not terrible, because they won't even have a new class by then. So, like, that's okay, I guess. And then that means, and then they're gonna get Soul Eater or something at the end of the year. So, like, that would, maybe by that point, they could actually get closer to giving us the class a couple of months later. But, I don't know. Russia fell behind again, right? Because Aeromancer came out just now? This month? When did it come out in... It came out 6 months ago. Or 5 months ago in Korea. I guess that's not too far off of where they wanted. They wanted it to be 4 months for most stuff, but I mean... Yes. I think the slow content pacing isn't a good sign. But they could also just be trying to take it slow at the beginning of the year to crank out stuff during summer and, like, winter months. Which I don't think is gonna... I'm just saying, I have no faith in that. I think we're looking at Brellhard in April, Elgacia in August, a con in December of next year, and Korea already have 3 more raids by, like, I don't know. I think we're looking at a solid 4+ months between every raid now. Sorry, not raid. Any PvE content being added. And I think that is doom. Until we're caught up. Once you're caught up, people have, like, in an MMO, when things are caught up, people are more accepting. But being constantly behind is just, it's going to be a slow death. Actually, I expect there to be a gigantic fall off in March with nothing. Like, people might be interested by Rowan, right? Okay, like, see if you agree, Persnickety. People are going to be interested by Rowan, right? Because it's still new content. People might want to give the PP a go. It'll come with some quality of life and stuff like that. So, like, that's going to be February. And then that's the anniversary month, so people will also probably be hyped. There'll be ads and shit. I'm sure there'll be events or something going on Twitch or, you know, ads or whatever. But then March is going to come along, and people are going to have it a little bit tedious from Brell being the raid. But then guess what the next raid is? Brell again. And I feel like with no actual content planned other than a PvP, than the 48v48 planned for March, I feel like the game's just going to crater. Like, just basically die in that month. Like, that's the month the game could die. And I don't know if Brellhard's enough to recover from that huge drop-off the game's going to get in March. Because it's not a new raid. It's the same raid with 10 new mechs. So, like, I don't know. It's worrisome. But the way they could turn that around is that here's Brellhard in April, and then May or June is Elgacia, to keep people, you know, churning their characters and feeling like they're progressing. And, like, here's actually something new, not just the same raid, but hard mode. So, that would be my hope, is that Elgacia is May or June. And then a con's a month or 2 after that. But I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure we're looking at 4 months between new encounters. Quality of life and stuff will probably get quicker. Balance patches probably quicker. But, like, actual fights, probably not. I think the roadmap basically confirms that. And that you can just take that at the face value of this is the new way it's going to be. But, like, again, they could change it. They did say that that's roadmap, and the thing that makes me believe this, right, is it's called road, instead of being like the months, it's called Roadmap Part 1. And it includes 4 months. So I'm assuming that Part 2 is just going to be the next 4 months, which at the end of those 4 months is going to have a new major content, and then it'll be the last 4 months of the year as the Part 3, and that'll have the, I don't know, I think just all the signs point towards probably too long between stuff. Wow, we're catching up. If that was the way they wanted to release content and we were on the same patch as Korea, I think that's fine. I don't, like, is that weird to think about it that way? 4 months doesn't seem like a long time for an MMO to get new encounters if it's the newest content for the game. And cause yeah, I don't know. People find out about the stuff. Like, just because people don't care or aren't interested in Korea doesn't mean they don't end up knowing and getting their hype spoiled. Nobody wants to eat leftovers every day of their life. Or every day of the week, I guess.
Fucking man, you had it right the first time. Oh, you were there. You had a pithy maxim.
I think it's every day of the week works better.
A witty little own, and then you fucking went back and revised it.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
It triggers the. I don't know. I've stopped watching most of the KR guys stream because they're all despair after the low on, which is fair. It's okay to be despair. It was pretty disappointing for them too, but
was it? I mean, yeah, that's what I've heard. But like, why?
It was a lot of talk without any show, I guess.
Okay.
And still no announcement for their. But I don't know. And still no announcement for Theomine. They're really been thrown off by that because Theomine's supposed to be the big bad. Like, he's the Legion commander that's going to be the most badass. And they keep hyping up his encounter, but they actually haven't shown anything for it. And he got announced 2 years ago. So, like, they're a little behind on there. Just a little. So that's understandable. But, I don't know. They're still getting, like... It still sounds like they're going to be getting a new encounter, Abyss raid, Abyss dungeon, Legion raid every 3 months or so. So, like, or less.
I think that's nothing to complain about.
Yeah. They're just upset that they're spending time focusing on, like, they didn't address a lot of the big issues that the game has, right? Like, people are really upset about Theon at this point. They're upset about having to do how the chores are just piling up and piling up. And all they did was just announce new things, like new activities to do, which is cool. But they didn't address any of the issues that, like, the long-standing players have. And also these long-standing issues prevent new players from coming into the game because, I mean, in an MMO, people talk, like, people usually join to play with a friend or something, not just by themselves, so... Also, it's easy to get information. Like, MMO players, like, want information. Just... Yeah. It's... I understand why they're smoj, but the KR streamers have turned their kind of weird despair for their roadmap for the first couple of months of their year into, why are you guys complaining about your roadmap? If you catch up, you would be sad too. And it's like,
but it's better to be sad together.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think you get it, which they don't because they don't play our version of the game. Even though they log in, they don't actually play our version of the game. So, like... I don't know. I've given it some I don't know. If I had money, I would play on KR. I would move everything over to KR and just play there.
Or for business?
Yeah. Like, I like this game so much, I would like to live in Korea to be able to play it, and have it not be sketch. Like, this game is that good to me. Well, the Korean version of this game is that good to me. Our version's fucked. Still love it though, but I don't think I'm getting the same vibes I was getting from PoE as it started to go down.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's doomed.
I'm getting the same vibes from Amazon running the show, and well, Smilegate's also running the show. I don't think Smilegate knows how to work with Amazon to run this show. So I'm getting the vibes of give it another year. I'll be surprised if this game makes it to its 2nd anniversary.
I mean, it'll make it.
With
whether it'll be popular.
I could see it shutting down before the 2nd anniversary. Truthfully, I could see it shutting down.
A lot to shut down, but we'll see.
I could see it shutting down before the 2nd anniversary, at the rate at which if they don't change some stuff. Also, the problems from Korea do leak over to us, right? And if they don't address those issues on their version, it only makes our version worse. So like that's like the compounding pressure is what I think will kill the game before next year's anniversary. Which makes me very despair, because personally, as it's looking right now, I've been digging into looking at what Maxwell and the guys have to offer about D4. I personally think I just prefer to play Lost Ark, even in its state, over D4. But D4 is still Pog, but like, I agree with what Namon said the other night, that Lost Ark's like Diablo 5. And that D4, I mean, I've also said it, right, since the beginning, or since getting a glimpse of stuff, that D4 is going to need a year to incubate, right, once it's released. I don't know.
I mean, that's been my concern for a while, is that it's not going to have enough stuff at launch.
So, like, even though D4 will launch, right, I'm going to no life it, I'm still going to keep playing Lost Ark. Like, I'm going to keep being a Lost Ark player. I don't see myself not. So I'll probably be here till the ship sinks.
We'll see. You didn't get your hair wet in PoE.
True.
Only your toes.
It only got halfway up my body before I realized I was drowning or starting to sink. Everybody else is underwater and they're thinking they're fine.
I'll just learn how to breathe. I'll just learn how to breathe water. It's part of the vision.
And I do think that they could solve a lot of the issues, or like they could also do band-aid fixes to the issues, right? Like, instead of giving us the, if they know, or if they don't feel like it's reasonable to give us the like PvE content quickly, they could at least compensate and give the classes at the release at the same time. Like, drip feeding everything, quality of life, it's just not sustainable. Like, the second that a quality of life patch hits KR, it should just hit us that same, the next week at latest. They are pretty quick. They usually are doing them within a month, but they're going back on that with the roadmap, because, right, we're not getting those quality of life till February, and the last quality of life patch we got was from, like, September in KR. We got their quality of life. So, like, by the time we get the next one, it'll been 5 months since the last quality of life patch, and they're going to have another quality of life patch before that. So, like, at least give those, like, those things can be churned out. And should be. Like, that was one of their, on the roadmap, that's one of their major bullet points for the February month.
I'm gonna adjust your language. Instead of say churned out, say should be prioritized.
Yeah. Like, I think classes and classes, balance patches, and quality of life should be, prioritized to come out as close as possible as when they came out in KR. like they could. Okay, so say sure we can't have the hype of a Con or Theamine release with Korea and the other regions. That's fine, but let every region share the hype of Slayer, share the hype of the Soul Eater, share the hype of like they can do that job. That job can be done.
Like if you're gonna just release classes at the same time as a raid, anyways, to where there's no mind fade to release versus the release of a class versus the release of the raid
In our version,
like just fuck it, man. YOLO. But also eventually get us to where we're getting. Like I don't expect us to be caught up for Theamine.
we're never getting caught up.
Yeah,
We're always going to be 4 months behind.
We need to be caught up at some point.
It's never happening. We're 4 months behind perma, at best.
That can't be true.
That's why I'm saying the game's not going to make it to the second anniversary. It's because people are going to get tired of that shit.
Yeah. Maybe.
If another year passes and we're still a year behind, we're gonna. People have done like the scaling on Reddit. It's like at the pace we're going, we're never even going to bridge the gap. Like it was something like 6 years to get 4 months behind. It used to, when they were saying 6 months or like 3 months behind, it was actually going to take longer. It was going to be like 10 years to get 3 months behind. But at this current cadence, it's going to be like 6 or something. I think it was 6 was the amount. If they keep releasing content the way they release content and we keep getting it the way we're getting it, it's going to take like 6 years to even get 4 months behind, which like that's not sustainable. The game will have you will have shut off the servers because you don't have players.
Possibly. I don't know how many players it loses to like not have the
It just
added hype,
even
but
if
it
it
certainly doesn't help you gain more players, and you have to have churn.
I can't see how it's not worth. I can't see how it's not worth the investment. Like this game is worth the investment to make it as close as. Like it would be great if Amazon could just pick up the Russia and Japanese version too, because then they would for sure have an incentive to keep our version or the global release as close to Korea's version as possible. We make them money, so like they get a lot of money off of us, or they should, or I think they would.
Yeah, I mean they have one whale right here. Not me. You're the whale.
Yeah. Sure that they enjoy that trickle down 1 cent they got from me.
It's a trickle up, okay.
Yeah, I don't. It's just those like the thought of. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they don't think the game is going to be. Or like, the numbers don't show that it's worth the investment. But it's just sad, I guess. But I mean, it's not anything new. That's like, for some reason, that's like the staple of Korean MMO companies that port their games to to global. They just seem to not think that putting any sort of investment into their, or I guess a over minimum is worth it, right? Like they just view us as cows to be milked, or whales to be milked. Can you milk a whale?
They're mammals, so yes.
Yeah. Whale to be milked.
I don't know what whale milk tastes like. It's probably salty.
Ugh.
Right, they live in salt water, so
Yeah. I just can't see it. Like, we're such a massive market, right? Like, it's gotta be worth. And I think that Stoops kind of says, did you, I mean, maybe you've seen it. There's a video going around, Stoops addressing Smilegate and Lost Ark together.
I don't think so.
And like, I guess like that's the, That's what I feel like the streamers that play KR and like are English and like have a Western audience should really be saying is like, it's definitely would make sense to put more investment into our version of the game. But I don't know. Lately the whole thing's just been stop being a spoiled gamer, I guess, or something like that.
That would help.
There's nothing, it's not being a spoiled. And then maybe only 2 months till they like. To me, it's like, how can you fucking complain about that when like you're getting all of the new stuff and you get to figure out how to clear it? Like, I don't know. You get to pioneer everything. Everybody else just has to just eat your leftovers. Like, it's a spot that a game shouldn't. That's like a. To me, it just seems ridiculous to put yourself in that place when porting a game or releasing a game or like managing a game. It seems just dumb to put yourself in that spot. But maybe there's no correct way to. Maybe there's no winning.
I do think it's a very difficult task of catching us up. I don't think it's easy. I mean, even from the very, very, very beginning, where we had the decision to unlock Tier 3 from day one.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, that's probably a bit too fast. It gave people an outsized advantage that had a lot of game knowledge. And I think that is true. And like Argos came too fast. And that is also true.
Yeah, but they could, but we do realize now that they could
separately. One is that we've progressed past the state where the select game knowledge can give this outsized advantage to where everyone has run and is at the edge pretty much. It's going to care about being at the edge. So I don't think that the first scenario of things being out too soon is a problem. Second scenario of Argos coming out too soon can also be alleviated. Not just by lol get over it, but by giving us increased toning materials in order to meet the accelerated pace of content coming out. Like, there's nothing that says we only can get 250 Marvelous Leapstones a week. If we are getting 250 Marvelous, this is not accurate to what we're actually getting, but if we're getting 250 Marvelous Leapstones a week, and it'll take us 6 weeks to get to where we need to be for Hard Brel, just give us 500 Marvelous Leapstones a week, and then it'll take us 3 weeks to get to where we need to be for Hard Brel. It's not entirely accurate because of percent chance to fail, but the idea is there where you could just give us more materials with the accelerated pace of content, and then you should have a rough idea, I would think, of how long it takes to acquire the materials to get to the next thing, and then just bump it up.
Yeah.
Ideally through some sort of external to the, like, don't just make Brel drop double the materials for the accelerated content. Give us an event that gives us double the material. Would be the best way to do it, because then you could take away those events once we're caught up, and it wouldn't be as much of a easy L to not hold. Again, being behind forever is not good. I think it'll be fine for some people, but I think that it'll really hurt the ability to onboard new players.
Especially
It'll
what scares
dull
me
the
about
hype
it,
for the
right?
game in the West.
What scares me about it, right, is because I do think that because in KR, right, they've talked about how after Daemine, it's going to be a new act, right? Like they're going to try something different. To me, that sounds like that's a 4th tier. They're going to give themselves
I mean, no matter what it is,
but
really
a full hard reset to the game, like a new tier does to this game, would be pain to know that that's out, and we have to wait 2 years for it. So they're just on a new. That'd be like we're on tier 2. Still, that'd be like being on tier 2 right now. Still, and KR's in tier like that is.
Spookish.
I don't know. That thought is what drives me crazy. Is that at the current rate, they're gonna get a new tier, and we're gonna be stuck doing an old tier with like none of the same mats. They're gonna be doing completely new raid design, like complete new raid design of like fights, maybe even new loot systems, new chores, and we're gonna be playing fucking RuneScape 2007.
People love old school RuneScape.
Fuck that game. We're gonna be playing RuneScape 2007, and they're gonna be playing fucking Lost Ark 2022 or 23 or whatever. I guess it'll be 24 by then, but you know. I don't see how people can't. Do people just not think that far ahead?
No. Well, I just think that
these games are all about long term. Like, I think about Lost Ark and like what I'm going to be doing in this game in a year.
I guess. What do you mean by people don't? I think a lot of people think that far ahead. I think a lot of people are upset.
I guess people think that far ahead, but do they realize? I guess maybe that's the point where like they don't keep us in touch with the. Like knowing all the latest stuff from the KR developments.
Yeah, and some people also don't like. For them personally,
it
doesn't matter that they're eating for them personally, it doesn't matter that they're eating leftovers. Like they'll enjoy whatever put on the plate because they like eating at this restaurant. I think that where our concern comes from is that we see it more as this is going to damage the health of the game. And it's not just something that or at least I think we at least think we're approaching it from the idea of it's not just what we want from the game, it's what's going to be the most healthy for the game long term. Now, whether or not that's actually what is most healthy for the game long term, you know, I'm a Gunlance man.
I think they know. I think there will be a hard reset. They already know tons of whales quit since T3 came on KR. I mean, they're going to just run into the problem if they don't do a hard reset. They're going to run out of new players. And then whales can't exist without the
minnows.
Without the new
krill.
minnows, yeah. Yeah, whales would get mad if they did a hard reset. But also whales would get mad if they can't. If there's nothing for them to buy. They'll just quit. Also, there's nobody playing. Like, whales don't, like, just a group of whales playing together doesn't really work.
You can't have a game that's not popular have a bunch of whales in it. You can have some whales in non-popular games, but you're going to have a lot more in games that are popular. So that's what makes you have the desire to whale it, is that it's a social thing. I don't know. I have a lot of agreement with you here, but I think a lot of the pushback is from a place of, well, I won't be put off by the game being behind. So, like, I don't care that it's going to be behind, personally. But that's not me saying
That's
that.
not
I'm
my.
just
That's
saying
not
that
even the complaint. That's not even the argument people are having. The argument people are having is that you'll just be bored when you get caught up, and like that's the worst argument. That's the thing that I think people who are complaining are least worried about.
Yeah, I'd rather be bored than behind.
That's exactly the argument that everybody from this side of the discussion says is it's better to be caught up and bored than behind in an MMO. That's just the way it feels. Or like that's not even the way it feels. That's just like that's what an MMO player wants.
Because then when new content comes out, the boredom is alleviated, but we're still behind.
Yeah.
Like there's no solution
And it's even,
to the behind.
Yeah. It just leaves you always feeling like something's missing. Because the hype's missing. Like, Bro was fun, but a majority of the hype was just ripped away.
It would have been a lot more fun if we had to, like, learn the mechanics.
Yeah. And yeah, you can say you can just run it blind, but, like, that's... No, you fucking can't.
You can't.
I watched some blind runs. I'll put quotations there. They aren't blind. Somebody in that party knows something or saw something. And even if you don't, and even if you don't say something out loud, the way you move, the way you act, the way you play your character, even just one person playing differently isn't a blind experience.
It's not even about the blind experience. It's about the collaborative process as a community of coming up with a solution. And like, you don't get to have that. You can have the experience of coming up with the solution for yourself. Sure, I'd say that you could still have that experience if you deprive yourself purposefully of the information that's out there for you. However, you cannot have the collaborative experience of like, oh, somebody else just figured out that this line does this. Okay, now we can implement that into our group. And like, it's not like we are going to be the ones to figure out everything. But it's a lot more fun to be in the raid and like in the community,
and it's a lot easier
when those things are being figured out.
It's also a lot easier to like just be like, even though there might be a guide made because somebody cleared it 2 hours ago or cleared it even a week ago. It was only a week ago, right? Like you can avoid that information for that time. And like, I don't know.
I don't even think it's about avoiding the information, because like the vast majority of people, I would include myself in this, aren't going to ever run a raid blind. Like, we're gonna have the information.
Else.
I think that's silly. I think thinking that we're gonna be able to figure it out the best, better than
I don't think you figure out the best. I think it'd just be fun to actually be figuring it out I think it'd be fun to be figuring it out at a similar time.
Sure, yeah. But like, that's the more important thing, is that you're able to be in the raid, you're able to have access to the content at the same time that these things are being figured out, and that's a lot more hype than.
Yeah, like I don't know. The guy's in like.
I really hope ATK gets to make his video.
Yeah.
Like I hope he is able to also get some sleep while making his Braille guides, because like, I don't know. I do hope he gets to get some sleep while making his Braille guides.
Yeah. Like the guys that the English guys that all played together to do the on release, they did it without like looking at other people in the region's tactics as going along, right? And they did it the whole way through, and they agreed at the end of that was the most fun they've ever had gaming. Like, that was their most fun MMO experience. And it's like, how can... Then to turn around and to, like, not understand why our version of the game can't be maintained the way it is... It's like they just fucking hit themselves over the head with a wrench in the last couple months.
I mean, I think they would say that you can have that same experience on NA. You just can choose to not look it up.
but you can't. The community doesn't have that same experience.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think personally you can have a similar experience.
What matters in MMO is community.
I agree with that. I would say it's not even just in an MMO that matters. I'd say in a live service game, that community matters.
Yeah.
And the experience of the community matters. Hello. Have you come to complain about PoE?
No.
Okay.
Because the complaint department's closed. Or it's
No,
open, but
the
we're
complaint department is currently open. We're at max capacity.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
I'm just
Yeah, we're
complaining.
Yeah.
Let me
Oh,
complain.
I like complaining. I mean, I'm
We're complaining about Lost Ark.
I'm complaining about two different versions of Lost Ark. The version I play and the version I want to play.
Was the version? Do you want to play the Korean version?
Yes.
But he doesn't just want to play the Korean version. He wants to play the Korean version that the Koreans want to play.
Okay.
On NA.
Yeah.
What is the version that the Koreans want to play?
Less homework, more pog, less delay.